head over your alphaness? Or
It's awesome,
She's like,
actually, because, he's super supportive of me. I'm super supportive of him. And our kids, I think, get really embarrassed when we go out in public to, dinner because, people come up to us at restaurants and they're like, thank you so much for fighting. And our kids are, hiding that are super embarrassed.
They're going to love that.
You know what?
Though. They're going to be like, my mom is MacKensey Pulliam.
That's right. When our kids are embarrassed of us, my daughter, still 21, who gets embarrassed of when I leave the house in gold lame pants and stuff and says I'm too much for her.
Oh, sort of like when you make fun of someone and call them Paula Abdul.
Yeah.
Huh.
No, I'm not making fun. I'm down with it. I'm so down. But you know what? It's the thing that this is amazing. You're leaving a legacy of strength and not caring what people say. You're doing what God has entrusted you with. Your children, you're protecting them and not only fighting for your own, because I think this is where a lot of people get stuck. They do what's best for their kids, but they're not thinking about how can this is impacting the community, and the community impacts my kids as well. Mm-hmm. So how awesome. Tell us a little bit about what your husband, what's his main, I guess if there's one sentence that you could say your husband is fighting for. I kind of want to hear the number one thing on your mind.
Elevator pitch, right?
Yeah.
You've got 2 seconds. You've got 2 seconds to earn my vote for Stan that I don't legally have a vote for, but.
I say that Stan is fighting for our neighbors here in Oregon. I think that there's a lot of politicians out there that, take money from special interests and big corporations and, the rich people. But Stan and I are just normal middle-class people with middle-class problems and middle-class debt. And I think that that's really relatable. There hasn't been anyone in the governor's mansion with, public school age children in 20, 30 years. So we understand what families are going through. We understand what Oregonians are going through. And, Stan really led the charge this time last year, to get small businesses back open. Kate Brown shut them down right before the holiday season. And, their employees couldn't get their unemployment checks, and it was awful. And so he organized and he rallied a big group of businesses here in Oregon to defy her metrics, and not to just reopen with no safety precautions, but to just reopen at that next risk level down in a smart way to make sure that, they weren't, jeopardizing anyone's health, but allowing these small business owners to earn a living and allowing their employees to get back to work.
Right. And I hate that it's been 2 years and we still have to say, we didn't just open without precaution. We opened to keep everyone safe. And it's like, dude,
I know.
We have got to move on from the idea that anyone that opened their business early on still didn't actually jeopardize anyone's life.
Exactly.
It is okay now, I think, to just freaking open with no apologies, No. And yet the left makes us skate around that terminology when you say I think we have a right to work, with safety precautions. Because if you don't say that, you become this insensitive, hateful, death-wishing Trump supporter. Racist, white supremacist, all the things all in one, simply because you wanted to work or you want your kids to go to school mask-free. And we're still tiptoeing on their precious little feelings, and it's so frustrating. But Stan did the right thing. He encouraged businesses to defy tyrannical orders. Obedience to God or disobedience to tyranny is obedience to God, right? And I think that's what put him on the map. I mean, that is how I know his name, is I was like, thank goodness a politician, someone in office willing to stand up and put his own name on the line, not just another business owner, someone who has something to lose, right? Brandie would like to interrupt.
No. I don't want to interrupt. I'm
Spirit
just giving. I'm giving her my little as soon as you're done ranting.
I'm done ranting. I could rant for an
now
hour.
You totally interrupted my thoughts. See, this is how old I am. You can't interrupt me my
politician
thoughts.
Standing up.
Politician standing up. So my question is this: because you're in Oregon, and because a lot of people there, according, I'm with Lindsey a lot, and I know what Oregon was like for her, are brainwashed into this. What? How encouraged are you that he can actually win when so many people have bought into this nonsense?
Yeah, I think that, Oregon was in a bad way long before the pandemic ever came around. And I think a lot of people just had their blinders on and tried to be like, oh, but it's beautiful here. And so it's okay because we have recreation and we can all just like put up with whatever the government lays down because it's pretty here.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people have really been awoken to, what the government is willing to do and how the government treats its people. Just like last year, we were told we couldn't get together for Thanksgiving and we were supposed to turn our neighbors in if they had more than 6 people at their house. Like, that's
my
insanity.
Gosh.
This is an actual thing that she said. She said
it's actual communism.
Yeah.
This is what is so frightening is that this is communism here happening now. So, like put your kayak away.
Paddleboards, come on.
Yeah, get your paddleboard, put it as, it's like you can't hide from it.
Well, and MacKensey, that is exactly what you hear when I tell people I'm from Oregon. I go straight politics. I don't care who you are, and I don't care if you're going to disagree with me because I'm kind of
Trust me, she doesn't everywhere
now.
We go.
But they're like, oh, it's so beautiful. I'm like, it's not beautiful if you can't go outside and look at it.
Yeah.
It's not beautiful sitting inside your house being scared to death that if you go out maskless, you're either going to get shot or beat up or not
targeted, literally.
Literally not afraid of dying. But yeah.
Portland and seeing the homeless camps there, it's not so beautiful anymore.
It's not. Nope. So you guys are sticking it out. You know how there's a mass exodus of Oregonians leaving, right? So you guys are going to stick it out and fight.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep. Yep. We're stick it out people. And I grew up in Idaho, and so Idaho definitely is a special place in our heart. But we're not going to let these people come in and think that they can tell us how to live our lives and what we can do. Like, we live in America. It's all about choice.
Yep.
And so we should be able to choose how we want to live our lives. And if we want to live in this beautiful state of Oregon without people, oppressing their feelings and their values onto us, then we should be able to do that. Just like we should be able to do that in any state in the United States. Yep. I mean, really.
Well, and Rob McCoy said at America Fest just this last week here in Phoenix, he said, or was it was Jack Hibbs. He said, I'm not leaving California. I'm staying where the fight is.
That's right. He said, he actually kind of confronted the people that are caravanning away, saying, this is where the fight is. If you want to be in it, stay here and let's win this back. And I think living, I'm a native of Arizona. I get it. I get leaving places and coming here, but I'm also, we have the saying, don't California or Arizona, because don't bring those policies here. If you're running away from them, God forbid you keep doing what you've been doing.
Take that and just shift it. You're not running away if you're bringing it with you.
Yeah.
Right? Why run away from an abusive ex just to have him hidden away in the trunk, God, that was a great analogy. Anyone?
What?
I know,
what?
Right?
What? That threw me way off.
Like you're bringing your baggage with you. Like, what's the point of running from it
Yes.
if you're bringing it with you?
Exactly.
Then you're not actually running from it.
Exactly.
I was picturing an abusive ex tucked in
That
the
was
trunk.
interesting. This is,
I come up with random stuff. I'm sorry. What do you think? Do you think Oregon's going to flip red? I heard someone say that the other day, and I don't know why. Just because they've pushed so hard that the red's going to push back. Do you think there's any chance of that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I honestly think that, it's been 40 years since we've had a Republican governor here in Oregon. And I think people are really unhappy.
Yeah.
I think people have seen, what this 100% Democrat control has done, and it hasn't really done great things. Like Oregon's, schools were nearly last in education before the pandemic hit. And so we're really just praying that, people have become awoken to what's going on and, that they're willing to look at someone who's willing to fight for people, who's willing to say, you do you, and you live the life that you want to live, because that's the whole point. Stan's not here to tell people they have to be conservatives and they have to agree with him. He's here to say, I want to give you the ability to believe in whatever the heck is you want, and as long as you're not treading on your neighbors, then you do you. That's kind of our philosophy.
It's hard not to tread on your neighbors when they're sleeping in your yard and out in your street. I'm like, First things first. Let's get our neighbors off the street.
Oh my gosh. I think the word you're looking for there is freedom. Like he's pro-freedom, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, people who want to get vaccinated, they should also be pro-freedom. I have the freedom to get the vaccination.
And if you're vaccinated, why do you care if I am? It doesn't. If you're vaccinated, and people get so mad when I say this.
We're back to vaccines again.
No, but I mean, they get so mad. If your vaccination works, why do you care if I'm vaccinated?
Yep.
Isn't that the whole concept?
Or
what am I missing?
I don't know. Nothing.
Thank you.
Brandie, you're not wrong. You're so right.
Oh. There it is.
Well, and pro-freedom means all of the things. Your freedom, if you are afraid of Omicron, if you're afraid of your kids being in school with unvaccinated teachers, you are free to keep them home. You are free to mask them up. You are free to do all those things.
You know what?
You are not free to tell us that we don't get that same freedom.
I wish we were hearing, rather than, the 0.00% of people that are getting affected by this virus, I wish we were hearing about the suicide rate of children. I wish we were hearing about the depression rate of children. We were just at AmFest last week with this 15-year-old kid, a gorgeous kid
from Washington,
that had just 6 months ago shot himself in the head. By a miracle, he was standing in front of us, grateful for his life, grateful that he didn't kill himself. And no one's talking about that. Yep. And I think that is the biggest.
General just out yesterday and said that there's an epidemic of mental health. And I'm like, parents have been screaming this for the last year and a half. Where have you been?
Yep. They're not listening to the right people.
Parents, this is the truth, MacKensey, thank God for you. Parents have, we say, like Lindsey says, you say you'd throw yourself in front of a bus for your kid. You say you'd take a bullet for your kid. Take that mask off their face. Go stand with other parents and link arms. And like you said, being boots on the ground, because this has to be one for our kids. We're going to have a whole nother epidemic in a few years. I mean, if this doesn't change.
So MacKensey, people can find you on Facebook.com, Oregon Moms Union. You're on Twitter at Oregon Moms Union. And your website is OregonMomsUnion.com. So just tell us really quickly how people can help. Can they donate? Can they join?
Yeah, definitely. Visit Oregon Moms Union. From there, you can join. You can find your school district captain. You can donate. And really, the more people we get involved, the more power we have. And we provide training and resources and everything you need. So even if you're scared and don't know what to do, that's what we're here for. We are here to make sure that you guys have what you need to go to your school board and tell them that enough is enough.
Right.
So awesome. Thank you so much for being our guest today, MacKensey.
Yeah, thank you. Keep up the fight.
Definitely.
All right, guys, you're listening to the She's So Right Show. Brandie Barclay and Lindsey Graham. Visit us at she'ssorightshow.com. Support our show, shop Patriot Partners, and live stream if you'd like.
See you next time. God bless you all.
God bless America.
God bless myself.
God bless
my brain.
God bless Omicron.
It's Dylan's KC Barbecue at 4 Valley locations. Our sports bar in Arrowhead is packed with TVs for the ultimate sports fan. Our Wildlife World Zoo location will have you on the edge of your seat, dining right next to our 60,000-gallon shark tank. Dylan's Bayou at Pleasant Harbor has never-ending sunsets, beautiful people, and live music every weekend. And our newest location, Western Trails Ranch, is 12 acres of rodeo fun and live outdoor concerts for the entire family. It's Dylan's KC Barbecue, where we're elite, unique, and memorable.